everyone, and a warm welcome to this episode of Strengthen, an initiative of CXO Digital Pulse that brings you inspiring stories of resilience, courage, and innovation of women who have made a mark in the industry. And today, we have a very special guest with us who have been in the marketing space and is currently the head of TMEGS marketing and CEO programs for AWS India. A very warm welcome, Neha.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and happy Women's Day to all the women out there.
Thank you so much, and a very happy Women's Day to you as well. So, Neha, starting with the very first question. You are a distinguished marketing leader in the tech marketing space, I would say. And within a span of 15 years, you have already received 43 industry and organizational awards, and it's kudos. It's amazing. So, could you share the key strategies that have propelled your success in such a competitive field?
Sure, Pratik. So, first of all, thank you for all the appreciation and praise and for all your kind words. Okay, so see, first of all, your success is determined by a lot of things, right? So, your own passion, your perseverance, your persistence, your dedication, which is like straightforward, right? So you ask anyone what is the formula of the success, they will call out all these key ingredients. In Amazon, what we call it is called as day one culture. So what that basically implies is that you bring your best self to work every day. Right? So you cannot sit on your accomplishments. You cannot say, I'm an achiever, I have so many awards, I have done my bit, I have like over exceeded my targets, and now I'm going to sit and rest. So you treat every day as day one, and you kind of bring the same kind of zeal and enthusiasm to whatever you are doing, right? So that I feel is obviously the first and most critical ingredient for success.
Okay.
Now, what is second, right? So second is whether you are getting the right opportunities and the guidance that is needed to kind of make you successful. Like, for example, all your bosses, right? Your mentors, your coaches, are they identifying you correctly? Are they seeing those qualities in you? And once you have been identified, are you being given those strategic projects wherein you have an opportunity to basically showcase your skill sets, right? So, like for example, allowing somebody like in your team to basically lead from front, right? And to showcase something which probably they will not be able to showcase in any other project. So all these things determine success. Then third, I think, which is very critical for a woman, because as they say that we women don't have it easy, right? Is what is your ecosystem, right? So your success is not only what is that you are kind of bringing to the table, right? Because as a woman, you are playing so many parts in your life, right? So many varied parts. You are a mother, you are a wife, you are a daughter, you are a sister. So how is that ecosystem basically facilitating your success, right? Are they there for you? Are they standing in for you when you need them? Are they actually okay with you making those adjustments and sacrifices at home? So your in my case, my mother, my husband, my son, right? When I'm unavailable, for example, when I'm on business travel, is he okay with his mother not being around for so many number of days, right? So their unconditional support, their motivation, I think all these things contribute towards making one successful woman, whether at corporate or at business or anywhere for that matter of fact.
Okay, these were really amazing points, Neha, that you actually brought during the conversation, capturing all the roles that women play on a daily basis. So, while your marketing approach has been known or say described as a go-getter and highly effective, how do you balance your this passion towards marketing space with the collaborative and innovative expectations of this space? Because it's a very demanding space that you are now, the marketing space.
Yeah. So Pratik, see every job role that you basically get into has a unique requirement, and you basically adapt basis the need. So being adaptive and flexible is critical anywhere you go. Also, the ability to basically unlearn and relearn is also another important ingredient. So when I was in sales, your success is practically determined by how effective you are. Are you able to negotiate well? Are you able to influence the customer? Do you have the right relationship with the customer, right? So they say it, I mean, it's more or less, I would say there also you obviously collaborate when you are getting the order in and with your internal operational teams and all, but more or less, I would say it is still an individual person job, or maybe you inspire your team who is under you to basically go and close the deals. But when you are in marketing, so what is required is that you kind of collaborate with so many internal stakeholders as well as your agency and media partners. So marketing, I would say, is more or less a very, very collaborative function, and your success in this function is basically determined by how effective you are as a collaborator. So how you are able to inspire others, how you are able to coach others, how you are able to kind of what do you say, create a difference in those people who are around you, and you're able to influence them by showing the value that you bring to table, is what kind of makes the difference. So one thing that still echoes in my mind, and this my B school dean used to call out, was that a leader has to be accepted by the people around him or her. So how will you do that? How will that acceptance come? Saying, oh, you have to work with me and you have to do this work, right? So that is not going to kind of take you a long way. So you inspire people around you by your passion. So you show, I mean, how is that you are enabling their growth, how you are actually enabling them to do innovative projects which they have not tried, and you are continuously ensuring their learning and their growth also, while you are also growing with them. So I think that determines the success of a marketer, and that has been like very true in my case. So whatever I am, whatever learning, whatever achievements, as you called out in the beginning of the interview, I would attribute it to my media partners, my agency partners, and all people internally, externally, all my stakeholders with whom I work tirelessly. Like, I mean, they work tirelessly with me day in and day out. So a marketer is not successful if your sales team is not invested in the programs that you are driving, right? They don't see strategic value in you. So unless you have respect, you have strategic alignment with the sales team, you are not successful, right? So I think collaboration and integration is a key component for any marketer's success. And all these factors, all these examples that I gave you, they define that.
Okay. And with these two key components, I'm sure there are various challenges also that you face in a tech space, or say tech industry, as a woman specifically. So what steps have you taken at your personal level to overcome them?
See, first of all, so if you ask me honestly, see, I have also faced the same kind of challenges that any employee, and let us not make it gender specific. So I would say any kind of challenges that you would have probably faced in your career, or any other employee would have faced in a typical corporate career, I have faced same kind of challenges and even more, because I was a young mother, right? So I would get into that later, in the later part of this interview. So first, which is very common in workplaces, obviously, jealousy, right? So when somebody is doing well, when you're getting awards, you are at the epicenter of limelight, people start thinking, what is she doing extra that we are not doing, right? So not everyone is aware about how many hours of work you're putting, right? What is the differentiation you're bringing? So maybe your boss is the best evaluator there, and all the key stakeholders who are evaluating your work. So not necessarily people at the same level would understand that. So that is something, that negativity and jealousy, I think everyone has to face at some point in their career. So how I have handled it, I believe in accepting that. So I am a meditator, so I believe in the power of mindfulness and introspection. So sometimes you accept people as they are, right? So you accept, having acceptance, I think, is the first step So having accepting that yes, this is something that you will have to go through when you're climbing the ladder up, and just, I mean, knowing that and moving ahead with it, I think that is approach that has kind of worked for me. Then then there are obviously challenges which you face, because I mean, you are a woman, right? Nature has made you a woman, and there are certain tasks which have been given to you specifically to perform. Like, for example, you will obviously carry a child. Your male partner, however supportive or not supportive he is, he's not going to carry the child on your behalf. And if you want to be a mother, you will have to obviously take that responsibility. And when you do that, so there are a lot of biases, and which are conscious and sometimes unconscious, that a woman basically goes through. So I can very candidly quote example of a firm wherein I was working 7-8 years back, and that time I was in a sales role. So, and I was a young mother, so you can say in my mid 20s. And when I obviously became pregnant, so when I disclosed it at office, that reporting manager at that point of time when I was in sales, he was very supportive. So so I continued working with the same zeal and enthusiasm. I went to office till the 9th month. I think the day I delivered, that day my performance rating for that particular year was happening, and I got the highest performance rating in that particular organization, which only 1%, and that was a global organization, only 1% of the employees in that company globally across different countries used to get that rating. So I was obviously very happy, very satisfied with the kind of support and with the kind of fair evaluation that I got at that organization. In addition to obviously my rating and the compensation related benefits, I got many awards because I did many projects which were outside my regular KRAs. But now, cut to moving to the other part of the story. So then I went on maternity leave, right? And I remember when I came back from my maternity leave, so my boss changed. So my then reporting manager, whom I was reporting into when I was pregnant, he moved to another role, and there was another reporting manager who started managing me, right? So he was nice, he was supportive, but supportive in terms of, I mean, he was good with words, and he obviously knew my history, that she's a track record holder and she has got many awards and she has been a consistent top performer in sales. But he kind of started Pratik kind of micromanaging me, right? So that was I mean, what time is she coming to office? So I was a young mother. I have a few months old baby at home, and I am expected to come to office at sharp 9 in the morning and log in. Right? So if there is a hard day, if my child is not well and all that, so every time I have to kind of explain him the story, and there is a lot of you can say hostile behavior that I have to kind of take as a result of that. In addition to that, we had a woman leader who was our overall leader of that business unit. She, in spite of being women, right, she was not supportive when she because we are a nuclear family here in Bangalore. When she heard my story, so I couldn't get the kind of support that I was looking forward to, right? So though they were aware that she's a good performer, there was great stakeholder feedback, and there was a legacy that I had left behind when I went on my maternity leave, but the kind of unconscious biases that I had to face when I came back was something that I had not expected, right? So it kind of like toned me in different ways. And as I told you, I was very young that point of time, right? So I couldn't expect this coming up, right? I expected that, no, I worked so hard for your company when I went, and when I come back, I expect more love because I'm going through so many hormonal changes. I have a small child at home whom I have to take care of, but I couldn't get what I wanted. So I'm saying that these are the challenges that I think every woman goes through while they are climbing the ladder up in the corporate world. And I remember Indra Nui saying it, and I really liked how she basically she did that comparison, is that the time when you want to grow up in your career, the time when you are kind of climbing the corporate ladder, it basically coincides with your natural cycle also, right? When you are in the childbearing age, and both of them contradict each other, right? So sometimes women have to make hard choices, right? So if you want a family and career is not, the environment at work is not supportive, so some women have it hard, right? They have to drop the career down because they want to obviously be there available for the child, and vice versa also. So a lot of women nowadays are taking decision that they have studied so hard, they have done so many sacrifices, they have spent so much money on their education, and they want to kind of focus on their career because they feel that they won't have it like both the sides, right? Because they won't get
Yep.
the kind of support. So I think these are common challenges that you face, that every woman face, that I have faced, you have faced, and we have to kind of juggle with it. And it is a continuous everyday hustle, and you
True.
hustle and you still bring a smile on your face, and you come to work because you really want it.
True. And I would definitely agree with this, Neha. And I remember this interview of Indra Nui, and where she very specifically said if you want to maintain both the life of yours, the professional as well as the personal, you need a village around you, the entire ecosystem support, which helps you manage both. Without that, obviously, it's not possible. And we are no superheroes or super women who can do everything in one go, prioritizing everything.
Yeah. So, Pratik, I would say, I mean, in addition to obviously what I said, is obviously there are challenges and all. So, the learnings that I got along the way while I was obviously struggling with few of these things in my career is that you have to choose obviously the work, the workplace that you work for. Very very carefully. So in my case, I had problem with that particular manager when I came back from my maternity leave, but that organization gave the flexibility to basically change roles within the same company. So I changed my role to a business, to a different business unit. I moved to marketing at that point of time, and a lady marketing leader at that point of time, she gave me an opportunity. Though I was from sales, she had faith in my skills, she had seen my work in sales, so she had put her 100% bet on me, right? So I would
Okay.
say it is not darkness everywhere. There are
Mhm.
good people, there are good bosses, mentor, coaches who are there to help you. But you as an individual, it is your duty, it is your imperative duty to identify the correct people with whom you want to work. So that has been my learning along the way. The second thing is obviously you should be vocal if you need help. If you are struggling with these problems, right, you should not remain quiet, right? You should seek support, you should seek help from right people in your company who can possibly guide you in your difficult times, and they can maybe probably tell you. So in my case, it was my husband at that point of time, because I was having this experience in my sales stint, and he told me, and he gave me as a friendly suggestion, that since the baby is small now and you are a qualified postgraduate in sales and marketing, and you have already done sales now, why don't you want to try marketing? And if you don't like it, say for you do it for a couple of years, right, you come back to sales, because they will always take you back because you have done great work here, right? So he gave me that advice, and I took that advice, and then I discussed it with many internal mentors within the company that I was working for, and they encouraged me. And then, as I told you, a women marketing leader at that point in that firm gave me that opportunity, and I just kind of pounced on it, and it kind of changed, it steered my career in a different direction from that point of time.
Which is amazing. I would say this was the hidden good thing behind that incident, I would call it.
Yeah.
As we move to the last question of this conversation. So, for young professionals, especially the women who aspire to follow your footsteps and make their mark in the tech marketing space, what advice would you offer? And what are certain skills and qualities that you believe are essential for success in this dynamic marketing space?
Okay, so I think first is basically realizing whether you really enjoy what you do, right? So, as I told you, as I mentioned in the former part of the interview, that I was in sales, right? And I was good at it. I was not bad at
Mhm.
it. In fact, people used to tell me when I was contemplating the decision of moving from sales to marketing that you should not move to marketing because you are born for sales, right? But if you honestly ask me today, like, I mean, 9, 10 years after, I mean, down the line when I have left sales, is whether I was enjoying sales. So the answer is no. I didn't used to enjoy it, but I was good at it. because that comes naturally, maybe, I mean, to me, right, that I want to excel, I want to do get, and this goes back to your first question, right, like what are your ingredients as a person, right, whether you
Mhm.
approach everything with that seriousness and perseverance and hard work and all of that, right? So but you today, if you ask me that after doing marketing for so many years, if I really enjoy my job, I would say my job is my passion. I love my job. I thoroughly enjoy it. And after especially joining Amazon Web Services and working here now for close to 4 years, I absolutely adore it, because the kind of freedom that this organization basically gives you to innovate, to experiment, right, and to launch new things. So the kind of marketing that I have done in AWS in the last 4 years, probably I had not done those kind of campaigns and programs in my earlier roles, because every
Okay.
organization has some kind of structure, some kind of rigidity in terms of this we can do, this we can't do. So this organization gives you utmost freedom. I mean, for you as an individual to kind of bring your creative juices up on the table and uh, present new innovative ideas. And culture of innovation is something which is a term which is very commonly used in Amazon, and we encourage that at the client end and also internally. So yeah, so I think passion is what is going to determine your success. So you should identify, we should encourage the youngsters, even everyone around us, even our children, to basically identify their passions and pursue it, right? So don't do something because you are good at it. Do something which you enjoy doing, right? Because that is going to determine your long-term success. Then second thing, I think I touched upon that in the first part of the interview itself, which is basically identifying the right company, right? Identifying the right bosses, the right coaches and mentors for whom you want to work. And that is very, very critical in your initial part of the career, because those initial years are very, very important years, because they are going to shape your long-term career, right? So identification of whether you like the role that you are doing, right? Whether you are getting opportunities to upskill yourself in that role, whether you are getting growth opportunities, is that organization or your boss invested in your growth and learning? So I think these are all like green flags for you, that I would say, when you are in your nascent years of your career, or when you are just starting up. See, and the third thing here is basically acceptance and acknowledgement of the feedback that that your bosses, that your internal or external ecosystem is providing you, right? See, what I
Okay.
have seen in the current generation is that they have like a lot of enthusiasm. They will bring a lot of freshness, a lot of great ideas on the table, but they're very sensitive to feedback, right? So if
Mhm.
once feedback is given to you, right, I mean, introspecting that feedback, right, dissecting that feedback and trying to work on it is something that's also very, very critical for your long term success. Because as you grow, you will be given feedback, and some every feedback is not going to be framed as how you want it, right? So having the ability, so I would term this as your mental and emotional resilience, accepting that feedback, working towards it like with a lot of sensitivity and acceptance, is also something which will, I think, take our careers a long way.
Okay. Great, Neha. It was definitely wonderful words of wisdom, I would say. And as you fairly pointed out, during the career span, there would be many challenges. But within those challenges, there would be opportunities also. You need to follow where your heart is, understand and identify your passion. And once that has been identified, success is a definite thing to achieve. With that, we close this interview and sincere gratitude to you, Neha, for your time and your opinion that you shared with us. Do stay with us with more interviews of such inspiring women telling their tales of courage, resilience, and innovation. Thank you so much.